Hi, I'm Jess and today I'm here with another anime review. This channel is just becoming anime reviews because that's all I'm doing right now. So this anime is Myriad Colors Phantom World. I will put the Japanese title down here. I can't pronounce it so I won't try, but that's the Japanese title there. It's about a world in which a power plant or something, it did tell you but I can't quite remember what happened, but something means that the human brain chemistry in Japan was altered and these things called phantoms started appearing and humans were able to see phantoms, and the new generation started having special abilities which mostly helped them to deal with phantoms. Some phantoms are really kind and nice and fine and don't need to be dealt with, but some of them do become a nuisance or even destructive, so they do need to be dealt with. First I'm going to talk about the animation and then I'm going to get into the story and the characters and how I liked that. So the animation of this was absolutely beautiful. The colours made all the characters stand out from each other. Each of them had a really great different character design. None of them looked like each other apart from that Haruhiko and Reina had similar hair colour. They did look like siblings half the time, which made it a bit weird. I loved the way the fight scenes and the special abilities were all animated. Just beautiful. All the fight scenes were really well, I want to say choreographed because that's what I'd say in a TV show, but animated and designed so that they looked realistic, and so it wasn't always just the main characters just defeating it. It was a real challenge that they had. Mei in particular, her character is definitely designed for fan service, but the fan service in this wasn't that bad. Also, Mei, who is pictured here, definitely looks like Lucy, who is pictured here, and I just have to say it, these two are identical. What is happening? I just had to say it because they're just the same. So now I want to talk about the characters and the story. So the start of the series starts off with our main male protagonist, Haruhiko. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but that's just how I'm going to pronounce it. And Mei, who is in the year above and who Haruhiko calls Mei Senpai. So they're a team and they're not a very good team. They get laughed out of their club half the time, and so they're looking for new members. Then this series does progress to have a harem of sorts around Haruhiko, but as someone who absolutely loved the ever-changing set of characters in Sword Art Online, it didn't bother me a lot. The chemistry between all of the group of characters between each other and with Haruhiko, and the fact that was believable and adorable, and the fact that I liked all the characters was more important to me than the fact that they were a harem of sorts with Haruhiko, although some people might find that problematic. So the other main characters we get are Reina, Kurumi, Koyuto, and Haruhiko's fairy-like phantom companion, Ruru. The main thing that made me like this anime as much as I did is how fleshed out all of the characters were. Even though it had a quite large cast of main characters, they were all really fleshed out. Each of the girls got a episode that was devoted entirely to telling a story about them and to fleshing out their backstory, and it really helped me to know what their motivations were all the time, to know why they did certain things, and I really loved it. It just made them all so great. They weren't just part of Haruhiko's harem. That wasn't what it was. It wasn't like Sword Art Online where they literally get no development apart from what makes them relate to the main character. These characters got development, and while sometimes that did relate to Haruhiko's situation, it wasn't about him, it was about them, and yeah, it was very well done and I really enjoyed it. The episodes with just them that were about that character were some of my favourites. Even Haruhiko's episode, he does get an episode that's sort of just about him, and I really like that one as well. But the girls episodes were probably my favourite ones because they were so great. So the one thing I didn't like about the harem-esque development of the girls in the team and Haruhiko happened in the second to last episode. A character that is outside of the team asks Haruhiko if he has a crush on any of the girls and implies that he may one day marry one of them. There is a joke about how he might marry all of them, but that joke felt like it was sort of the producers being aware of what they were doing and aware of the harem and making a joke at it and jabbing themselves rather than an actual insinuation that they would have a harem. So it wasn't the fact that this situation led to the girls sort of considering their crushes on Haruhiku, and it wasn't the fact that Mei and Reina were included in this because their crushes have been obvious and have been running throughout the whole of the other episodes, but it was the fact that Koito was shoved into the same stereotype with her reasoning for her crush on Haruhiku being Haruhiku's nice to me, which just seems like no reason at all and a reason to not give her as much development with this supposed crush, because if you're going to put it in there, at least put some development throughout the rest of the season, but she didn't have any, so that annoyed me. But the thing that most annoyed me is they shoved Kurumi into this as well. Kurumi is a middle schooler. She carries a teddy bear around with her all the time. She's obviously not old enough to be having a crush on Haruhiku, and it wasn't portrayed in like a little kid having a crush on a big kid. It was like considered like it was a serious thing, and I just didn't like that a lot. But it is a very small scene, and it is the only scene in which Koito and Kurumi are portrayed in a romantic fashion with regards to Haruhiku, so it wasn't the worst thing in the world, but I just wish that scene hadn't been there if it had been portrayed differently. The romance definitely just focuses on Mei a lot, but sometimes little bits of Reina will also have romance for Haruhiku. I sort of really ship Haruhiku and Mei, and I wish something had happened there. I wish it had been less of a harem and more just a romance with him and Mei, because that would have been great. So now I want to talk about the world that Myriad Phantom World is set in. The narration parts at the start of each episode where Haruhiku and Ruru would teach the audience about the world were really, really cute, and they were very much appreciated as world building, which wasn't just shoved into conversations with all the characters that wouldn't feel organic, and I really liked that. All the powers of every character fascinated me, and I loved learning about them as they came along, and I loved all of them. I don't think I have a power that I'd be like, I want that one. I just sort of want all of them. So I think I'd probably have Haruhiku's power, but I'm not really sure. I loved the world. It was so interesting, and the whole thing with the company that had instigated this change really fascinated me, and I do wish it was played up more. I wish they do another season, or at least that the light novel was translated so that I could read it, because it's not translated, at least yet. But this is all we have for Myriad Phantom World at the moment, this 13 episode series, and it's not been announced that it's going to be a second series, but fingers crossed, because I really liked this. I really, really liked it. I think it was one of my favourite anime that I've watched that was this short, and yeah, so that was my review of Myriad Phantom World. If you have seen this anime, let me know down below. I'd love to talk to someone about it, and if not, and you want to give me some anime recommendations, I'm open to any. I love romance anime and I love fantasy anime, and I'm open to try other types as well. So yeah, leave them down below for me. So I'll see you next time. Goodbye.